a kids-play game called Zero Waste Card Game. The game is started by groups putting the card in stacks. The first group starts the game by rolling the single dice. Then they read the question on then they read the number on the dice and move their counter forward according to the number on the dice. The team which answers the question correctly first on very last box wins. Let's begin to the game.
The school requests its students and parents to donate used storybooks and other books to its library. Questions. Which are being used in this example?
Reduce.
Sorry.
The school website has a special section on zero waste and shows the various practice the school has adopted in order to become a zero waste school. Question. Is this a good practice or a bad practice?
Good practice. The school playground has a lot of fallen leaves, biscuit wrappers, plastic bags and paper litter lying on the ground. The school decides to collect the waste and burn it. Questions. Is this a good practice or a bad practice?
Good practice.
Good practice. Wrong answer.
The school requests its students and parents to use storybooks and other books to its library. Question. Which all is being used in this example?
Reduce.
Correct.
Into which bin would you put used tissues and band-aids? Into which bin would you put used tissues and band-aids?
We don't know. The school hosts an exhibition. The school hosts an exhibition once a year where it allows different eco-friendly companies to showcase their eco products. In this a good practice or bad practice?
Good practice.
Practice.
The school does not allow any classroom projects use newly printed material. The students have to only use pictures cut out from old newspapers and magazines. Question. Which are is being used in this example?
Reduce.
Correct answer.
Correct and getting it.
The school compost is wet. The school compost is wet and use the compost as a fertilizer. The extra compost is given to nearby farmers to grow their crops. Question. Which all is being used in this example?
Recycle.
Wrong answer.
Eba.
The school students conduct regular waste audits so that they can work and improving the waste management practice at school. Question. Is this a good practice or bad practice?
Good practice.
Correct answer.
Yeah.
All the desks and chairs and other furniture of the school are regularly minded by the school carpenters. Question. Which are being used in this example?
Reuse.
Wrong answer.
Into which bin would you put used tissues and band-aids? Wrong answer.
The school buys new colorful papers for all its notice boards every month and to away the used paper each time. Question. Is this a good practice or bad practice?
Bad practice.
Right answer.
ఈ పిల్ల బంద్ చేస్తుంది వద్దు
Into which bin would you put expired tablets, medicines and cough syrups?
Reduce. Reduce.
Wrong answer.
The school does not allow its students to buy any junk food sold in plastic or aluminum packaging. The school allows its canteen to sell fresh food. The children must collect in their own plates or boxes. Question. Which all is being used in this example?
కనబడే
Right answer.
The school gets its students to regularly read its empty chip packets, tea packets and empty packets which are made in sterilized plastic. As these are not easy to recycle, they are handed over to a person who mixes it with
పిల్లల పిల్లలు
aspire to make clothes. Question. Which are is being used in this example?
Reduce.
Correct.
అట్లా పోయి
Into which bin would you put broken bricks and tiles? Into which bin would you put broken bricks and tiles?
Construction.
Right answer.
The school does not invite people working in waste organizations to give talks to the students because it thinks that it is not important to learn about waste.
Question. Is it a good practice or a bad practice? Bad practice. Correct answer.
The school gets its students to regularly bring its empty chips packets, tea packets, and empty bags which are made with metallized plastic, aluminum covered in polypropylene. As these are not easy to recycle, they are handed over to a person who mix it with alcohols to make roads. Question. Which one is being used in this example?
Reduce. Correct answer.
To which bin would you put milk sachets and pouches? Into which bin would you put milk sachets and pouches?
We don't know. The school does not invite people working in best organization to give talks to their students because it thinks that it is not important to learn about best questions. Is this a good practice or bad practice?
Bad practice.
ఏ అక్కడ పోయి ఆ వీడియో
The school starts a waste campaign where the school teaches its students about wastes, segregation every morning during assembly time. Question. Is this a good practice or a bad practice? Bad practice. Wrong answer.
The school introduced earthworms into its composting pit and sells the vermicompost to farmers. Question. Is this a good practice or a bad practice?
Good practice.
Right answer.
The school encourages students to use products sold in Tetra packs and plastic bottles because the school can earn to lot of money from waste collection drives. Question. Is this a good practice or bad practice?
Bad practice.
Correct answer.
The school requests its students and parents to do not use storybooks and other books to its library. Question. Which all is being used in this example?
Reduce.
Right answer.
అంత క్లియర్గా
The school does not allow any classroom projects to use newly printed material. The students have to only use pictures cut out from old newspapers and magazines. Question. Which are is being used in this example?
Good practice.
Or which are is being used in this example? Correct.
The school makes it a rule that the students should pass on their use school textbooks to the next class. For example, when the 5th standard moves to the 6th, they hand over their used textbooks to the incoming 5th standard. Question. Is this a good practice or a bad practice?
Good practice.
Right answer.
print the school magazine, but instead post it on the school website. Question. Is this a good practice or a bad practice?
Good practice.
Correct answer.
The school starts an e-waste collection drive in which e-waste brought by the students from their homes is collected and given to non-certified recyclers. Question. Is this a good practice or bad practice?
Bad practice.
Correct answer.
Into which fish would you put used batteries? Into which fish would you put used batteries?
Reduce.
Wrong answer.
The school composts the wet waste and uses the compost. The school composts its wet waste and uses the compost as a fertilizer. The extra compost is given to nearby farmers to grow their crops. Question. Which is being used in this example?
Reduce.
Correct.
Team Way won this game.